As you mentioned that in relation to a reservation policy on the East Coast, the Liberals weren't very keen on that. And were they influenced by purist economists who objected to the very idea of a reservation policy?
Well, actually, I was a little bit too harsh on the Liberals there. The Liberals under Malcolm Turnbull did do an Australian domestic gas reservation mechanism. So they did bring in a piece of legislation that basically said, if we need to, we should be able to set this, use this mechanism to force the gas suppliers to provide gas domestically. Unfortunately, so they did set that up, but unfortunately, the new government decided not to use that. But politicians across the board have been pretty much very reluctant to do gas reservation because they think it's economically inefficient, which it's not, because every other place in the world does it. And it's just this sort of puritist neoliberal ideology that government intervention is bad, when really in this case it's not. And we only have to look. We have a perfect controlled experiment in Australia. We have Western Australia doing one thing, and the East Coast doing the other. We've got two separate gas markets. They're not linked by any pipelines. And Western Australians are enjoying cheap, abundant gas and cheap electricity relative to the rest of the world, whereas us on the East Coast, suffering from shortages while we export about 80% of it, and we're paying high prices. Now, all you have to say is, well, which place is doing it better? And the thing about it is, in Western Australia, they only reserve 15% of their gas. The other 85% is getting exported. So the energy companies are still making a lot of money, but they're not doing it at the expense of the domestic population. Whereas over here on the East Coast, they're making oodles of money, but they're also gouging us, gouging Australian households.